In this episode of The Frieze, the Yankees have earned the #1 spot in ESPN's power rankings. Plus, players who are heating up and could have a major impact on the homestand. Next, we'll preview the Rangers series and check in on Marcus Semien and Corey Seager. And then we'll have the farm report and, of course, your voicemails. This is a best record in baseball edition of The Frieze.
Good afternoon. How do you like that?
And a miss on 2-2.
How's it going, everybody? There is a non-zero chance that the Friday night game, Yankees versus the Texas Rangers, will be rained out. Weather not looking good in New York City this weekend. And if that game gets rained out, then we will go to sleep one more night cloaked in the stench of a loss. However, that is somewhat made less difficult by how well the Yankees have played so far. ESPN recently awarded them the #1 spot in the power ranking. And for anybody who's been following ESPN for the last couple of decades, there is most certainly an anti-Yankees bias at ESPN. They love to put the Yankees on TV because it gets ratings. But in general, they seem to favor the Red Sox a lot more, and it's just a lot of Bostonites working there, I think. But the Yankees do hold the top spot, and they have the best record in baseball as of the time of this recording, which is 6:47 p.m. on Thursday, May 5th. Happy Cinco de Mayo. I'm not interested in going out and having a few cervezas. I'd rather sit here and look at baseball film. The Yankees currently rank second in the American League in runs. They rank first in the American League in home runs. They're actually fourth in stolen bases with 14. It's unusual for them to be stealing this many bases, but we've seen what IKF brings to the team. We've even seen guys like Aaron Judge, who have a little bit of speed, be more aggressive. 2 stolen bases for Aaron Hicks. 2 stolen bases for Anthony Rizzo. Speed demon Anthony Rizzo. All jokes aside, I've been loving the way that Rizzo runs the bases. Garrett Cole has been cruising. He's thrown back-to-back outings of shutout baseball. 5 starts in the books. He's got 24 innings. He's 2-0. Would love to see him get that ERA under 3 in his first start versus the Rangers this season and their new lineup. We'll get to them in just a few minutes. Friday night's game, should it happen, is scheduled to be on Amazon Prime. I'm not sure what's going to happen in the event of a rainout. Your guess is as good as mine. I'm planning on having kind of an informal mini watch party, more of a watch-along for the first 5 or so innings on Friday night before I have to get ready for the postgame. It usually takes a few innings. I have to kind of build things on the fly. Offensively, leading the charge for the Yankees has been Aaron Judge, really offensively and defensively. I mean, he's a great offensive player, but I'm kind of talking about position players versus pitching. Judge has been the WAR leader so far, 1.4 WAR, but you see that Mike King, despite being a relief pitcher, leads the pitching staff in WAR this season, 1.3, almost as valuable as Judge. What a bargain Michael King has been. This guy is almost unhittable. He's appeared in 8 games, got a 0.51 ERA on the season, 17 2/3 innings, just 1 earned run allowed, 3 walks, and 25 strikeouts. That's 8.33 strikeouts per every walk and 12.7 strikeouts per 9. He is yet to allow a home run. If he stays healthy, I think he's a shoo-in for the All-Star game, and I think he's a underdog, kind of a sleeper pick to get some Cy Young votes. Those of us who remember Mariano Rivera in 1996 know that he struck out 130 hitters and had a 2.08 ERA. He got some Cy Young votes that season. It was the beginning, obviously, of a long and Hall of Fame career. I'm not saying that Mike King is that type of pitcher, but he might be having that kind of season. He's on pace for over 150 strikeouts out of the bullpen. He is 27 years old, so he's in his prime. You just hope that he can stay healthy and dominate all year long. As for Judge, I really kind of feel bad for him. He had the bat taken out of his hand on Wednesday night by some bad umpiring, but he's had 102 at-bats. He's got 9 home runs, 19 ribbies. We're seeing with the Yankees now, they've played essentially a month's worth of games. They've played 25 games. The season started on April 7th. Tomorrow is May 6th. So I would say after tomorrow's game, that's essentially a month's worth of baseball. Generally in a month, you'll have 27, 28 games. So at the end of this weekend, I think you can look at the guys' stats on this roster and say, okay, here's what a month's worth of stats looks like. And so far, we've got 2 guys with 9 home runs. We've got a couple of guys that are probably going to have 20 RBIs. Rizzo's got 21. Judge has 19, assuming he knocks in one in the next couple of days. It's not a guarantee, but I think he will, given the way he's been swinging the bat. Giancarlo, off to a okay start for him. He generally starts really slow, but he's got 5 home runs and 16 ribbies. He generally heats up in May. We'll talk about him in just a second. Gleyber Torres, another guy that I think is going to heat up. We'll talk about him. The bench has done really well. And this is going to be a tough homestand. The Texas Rangers are not a great team, but they do have some dynamic offensive players. Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, Adolis Garcia. He's good on both sides of the baseball. And then you got the Blue Jays coming in on Tuesday and Wednesday. So we know how tough they can be. Attention listeners, are you ready to be blown away? You asked for it and they listened. Our friends at Manscaped just relaunched the Ultra Smooth Package. It's back, baby. I just realized that's a double entendre because the Ultra Smooth Package does just that, makes your package ultra smooth. This will be your new favorite tool to complement the Lawnmower 4.0 to keep your boys smooth while looking and feeling their best. The Ultra Smooth Package includes the Crop Exfoliator, the Crop Gel, and a Crop Shaver. It's a nifty razor. Best of all, NYY Recaps viewers get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com when they use the code NYY Recaps. That's NYY Recaps, all one word, no spaces, and you will get 20% off and free shipping. Manscaped.com, your balls will thank you. Okay, this homestand, there are 3 players that I think are going to break out and do some good work. Now, the first on my list is Giancarlo Stanton. Over the last 11 games, he's hitting .326. He's got 3 home runs and a .910 OPS. He's hitting the ball as hard as ever. But I think he's still got room to improve. Just watching Giancarlo, I don't think any of us would say that he's as hot as he can get. Sure, his numbers over the last couple of weeks have been pretty solid. But we know what Giancarlo can look like when he's really swinging the bat well. You just can't keep him in the ballpark. That has not happened yet. I would not be surprised if Giancarlo, after these couple of days off, going home, getting some home cooking, riding a 9-game hitting streak, I wouldn't be surprised if he turns it on and hits a couple of home runs in this homestand, maybe 3. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes deep twice in a game, one of these next few games. He just seems like he's on the verge. He's hitting the ball hard, but the launch angle is a little bit too low. Maybe that's how they're pitching him, but I think he's going to really turn it on at some point in the very near future. And we got to talk about Josh Donaldson. He's one of those guys that you don't even notice is really heating up. The power hasn't been there. The batting average really hasn't been there. But over the last dozen games, he's got an .876 OPS, and you can see that he's got more walks than strikeouts, so that trend is starting to shift away from what it was in the beginning of the season where he was striking out all the time. He's got 5 extra base hits over those last 12 games, and I think he's just becoming more and more acclimated to being a Yankee, getting another chance at home in front of the crowd. I think his defense has been fine, but we're just still waiting for that offense to come around. 26 home runs last year. He's well behind that pace right now. I could see him having a big homestand as well. And then Gleyber Torres. There's a lot of reasons to like what Gleyber Torres has given you over the last dozen games. He's hitting .297 over that stretch, .848 OPS, couple of home runs, 10 RBIs, 1 double, 1 triple, so overall 4 extra base hits. And again, Gleyber Torres seems like he's a guy who really hasn't turned it on yet in a way that we've seen him do that in the past. And one thing of note, Gleyber Torres' average exit velocity is up almost 4.5 miles per hour on average from last season. That might be the Dylan Lawson effect. He's also playing outstanding defense. He's been one of the best second basemen in all of Major League Baseball. So I think that we need to start paying a little bit more attention to what Gleyber Torres is doing over the last couple of weeks. I think he's about to turn it on in a big way as well. And not necessarily with the power, but I could see more extra base hits, more doubles. And as long as he keeps driving in runs and playing solid defense, I think that's plenty. All right, we were supposed to get a look at the Texas Rangers on opening day and in the opening series, but because of the lockout and the schedule change, the Rangers are coming to town, and it's the first time we are seeing them this year. Corey Seager, somebody that a lot of Yankees fans, myself included, wanted to pick up this winter. He would have been perfect for this lineup, but I think IKF has done a nice job as well. Seager is hitting .258 with 4 home runs, a .712 OPS. Something about Corey Seager coming to the Bronx just seems dangerous. He's got a swing that I think will play up in Yankee Stadium, so got to pitch him carefully in this series. Another guy you got to pitch carefully is noted Yankees killer Marcus Semien. Now, you look at the stats, and you see that Semien is hitting .179, and he has yet to hit a home run. But before the off day, he had back-to-back 2-hit games, and he's a guy who gets a lot of hits when he's cruising. And so the Yankees need to be careful with him because he might be starting to heat up. He's a fastball hitter. Garrett Cole pitching in Game 1. Not sure I love the matchup. Got to pitch him extremely carefully. And Adolis Garcia. He was a guy who kind of broke out last season. One thing that stands out about Adolis Garcia is how much he strikes out. 26 strikeouts this season, so he can be pitched to. Yankees pitchers should be able to shut him down. He's got a lot of speed. He's got 4 stolen bases already. And he's got an absolute cannon where his right arm should be. So watch out and do not run on him. Also, on the pitching side, John Gray will pitch in this series. He's scheduled to pitch in Game 3. He was one of the big acquisitions that the Texas Rangers made this winter. Overall, the Rangers are 10-14. They have a negative run differential, 104 runs scored, 107 runs allowed, and they are in 4th place. The Yankees should be able to take care of business against this squad. Also, watch out for Nathaniel Lowe. He's hitting .293 on the young season with a .350 on-base percentage and a .118 OPS plus. He's a left-handed hitter. He could be dangerous in Yankee Stadium, 6'4", 220 pounds. You got to keep him from hitting the ball in the air. He's got a little bit of speed, too. 8 stolen bases last year without getting caught. Should be a fun series, and the weather could be a factor, so watch out. All right, we got a lot of guys approaching 100 plate appearances in the minor leagues, so this is a good time for a check-in on the farm. And I got to start with Jason Dominguez, who, to me, I think it's okay to be a little bit disappointed about so far. Hitting just .209, he's 18 for 86. That's a .209 batting average. 1 home run, 7 ribbies. What really stands out to me, though, is the 31 strikeouts and 5 walks. That seems very terrestrial to me. Anthony Volpe also off to a tough start, hitting .187. Broke out of it a little bit for a couple of days, but then slumped once again. Got 3 home runs, 14 RBIs. You're seeing good speed from Anthony. 10 stolen bases so far in the minor leagues. Oswald Peraza continues to improve. He was hitting .200 the last time we had one of these updates. 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, 5 stolen bases on the season. He continues to get a lot of praise from the Yankees organizational people who think he's going to be a star. Austin Wells has really turned it on this year, hitting almost .320. He's got 4 home runs and a .994 OPS at high A. And given the lack of catching depth that the Yankees have, I think it might be time to give him a shot at Double-A and really challenge this kid. It's clear that he is conquering the Single-A level offensively. Everson Pereira hitting .293 with 1 home run and 7 ribbies, 8 stolen bases. We're seeing a lot of speed from these Yankees in the minor leagues. They're running. They've got the pitch clock now that kind of makes things a little bit easier. You can wait the pitcher out. Ken Waldichuk at Double-A, really pitching well. 18 2/3 innings, 28 strikeouts, and a 1.45 ERA. Would not shock me if he gets a taste of AAA in the near future. No rush because the Yankees have a lot of good pitching at the major league level, but having a good lefty in the stable to go to if you need him, well, that's promising. Can't wait to see this guy pitch at the big league level. He's funky, good fastball, good breaking ball, and so far great results at Double-A.
Hey, Derek, this is Jeff from Pennsylvania. I got something to put to you. You know, the Yankees are doing fantastic, and I'm loving it. The defense is tightening up. The offense is coming around like nobody's business. The rotation is just fantastic, and the bullpen is just lights out. You look at guys like Falefa and Glaber's coming around, and even Hicks looks like he's coming around. Do you really think Cashman is that smart, or is he that lucky? Or is it a combination of both?
That's a great question. Well, I think Cashman is experienced enough to know when the team is missing key elements. And it was clear to everyone, the fans, the front office, that last year this team was constructed poorly. They didn't have any left-handed bats. The defense was shoddy. The base running was worse. They had an entire lockout to be creative and look at the analytics and look at the regular traditional stats and talk over with the scouts what to do. And I think the plan they're putting together so far seems to be working. And one thing I've been really impressed about is how healthy everyone has been so far. That can't be discounted. The Yankees have been unhealthy a lot in previous years, but so far, so good.
I'm calling because I think it's time that we move on from Gallo, because it's been, a year and some change, or about soon to be a year, right? And it's been the same thing from him. He's going to get hot eventually. He's going to get hot. But the thing is, nothing has happened, and it's been the same stuff from him. Lots of strikeouts, which we already have plenty of. This is, a little better. However, with this team and the way we're winning, I feel like that's an asset that we can just, we can get rid of that and get something better in return, whether that's a prospect or another contact hitter. You saw Marwin last night doing his thing, He actually gets on base without having to hit a home run or strike out, So just that into perspective. And also, we can move on from JD as well. If he starts hitting, let's get rid of him and keep these Yankees rolling, man. Let's stay youthful and keep it moving.
Hey, Derek, how you doing? It's Michael from Long Island, New York, and I just wanted to give you my insight on this Yankee team. I think this team is a special team this year. I haven't seen this in years. I grew up with the 90s Yankees teams, and this team is giving me a lot of flashbacks of those great teams, and I think this is the year, man. I can feel it. I think the Yankees are going to go all the way this year. They look fantastic. The pitching, the bullpen look extraordinary, and just keep it up. The offense is rolling. I mean, I really can't say anything negative about this team right now, and I think this team has a legit shot at winning the World Series this year. I think they have an excellent chance. It is very early in the season, but I think the Yankees, I think we're seeing a different team this year. Yeah, I haven't seen this in ages. I mean, this is the first time I could say I've been happy since 2009. I mean, they're off to one of their best starts in their franchises, and in the end, when all the smoke is cleared and all the dust is settled, I hope the Yankees are they're the last team standing, and they're hosting that trophy for number 28, man. Let's do it. Let's go Yankees.